Hello guys, welcome to the video. In this video, we are going to discuss a very interesting problem, double pair array. So in the input, we are given an array of even length. What we are required to check if it is possible to reorder our array in such a way that for I in range 0 till n upon 2, that means half the array. Then we are given a condition. If this condition holds true, then we have to print true, else we have to return false. So this is our question. So now let's understand that what the condition is basically, right? So let me copy it and open my open board. Right. So let me increase its size and then we are gonna discuss the interesting problem first. Okay. So what we are given? We are given an array of integers, we know. So now what must be worrying you? You must be worried that what this condition actually means. So let's understand. So here our condition is array of 2 into I plus 1. So here what is I? I represents your index. Okay. So let's see for I is equal to 0. Right. For I is equal to 0. Okay. So what it basically means here is that array of 2 into I. And here what is our I? Our I is 0. 2 into 0 plus 1. Right. Should be equal to array of 2 into array of, let me undo it, 2 into array of 2 into I, that is 2 into 0. So that's what this condition actually means, right? So let's solve this and let's write it from again, right? So if we solve it, what will it be like? It will be array of 2 into 0 plus 1. What will it be? It will be 1. 2 into 0 is 0. So it should be equal to what? It should be equal to 2 into array of 0. So here let me erase it, right? Let me erase it. So for I is equal to 0, this is the condition that should be true. Okay. So here what this represent, this one represent the array index. So whichever the value is in array first index should be equal to the value that should be double, right? So the 0th index value should be double than the value of the first index. Let's write more conditions here. So let's say for I is equal to 1, right? So here what will be there? So it will be array of what? Array of 2 into I plus 1. So 2 into 1 plus 1, that is array of 3. Should be equal to what? Should be equal to 2 into array of what? 2 into I, that is 1 into 2, that is 2. Perfect. Let's see for I is equal to 2 now. For I equal to 2. Okay. So what the condition will be? Again, array of 2 into I plus 1. This time our I is 2. So that means 2 into I, 4 plus 1. Array of 5 should be equal to 2 into array of 2 into I. That means 4. So here what this basically represent? That the fifth element should be equal to fourth element. Here what third element? Fifth element. Right, sorry, let me repeat. So the value at fifth index, right? So whatever the value is at fifth index, the fourth index value should be the double of it. Same here, whatever the value is on third index, the second index value should be double of it, right? Here again, whatever the value is in the first index, the 0th index value should be the double of it, right? Into 2, right? Let's see one more case, right? And then we will understand in terms of the given array, right? So for I is equal to 3, what it is going to be? Array of 2 into I plus 1. That is array of 7. Should be equal to 2 into array of what? 2 into 3. That is array of 6. Perfect. So now that we know, we understand that what this condition actually means. So let's understand in the terms of an array. Let's say we are given an array, what elements with 4 2, -4 and -2. Let's say we are given this array. Okay. So here, what is our condition? Our condition is that we need to, that whether it is possible to reorder the given array in such a way that for every range, for every ion range, that for let's say this is a 4 size. So for 2 elements, for half the size, the condition should be true. So the condition is that if here it is 4, that then for 4, I need a double, right? I need a double pair basically. So with this 4, can I make a pair? Yes, I can make a pair. So let's take 2 here. So 2 double is 4, right? So they make a pair. And here also we got -2 and -4. It can be again as per constraint. As per constraint, we will have both negative and positive values. So we got to take care of it accordingly. So here it is -2 and -4. So yes, they also make a pair. Are you getting me why they make a pair? Because 2 double is 4 and -2 double is also -4. Right. Let's see more cases here. Okay. So let's say we got 3, 6, 3, 6, 8, 4. Okay. So here also 3 and 6 make a pair as 6 is double of 3. Right. They make a pair as 3 is double of 6 is double of 3. Here also they make a pair. Why is that? Because 8 is double of 4. Right. 2 into 4. Right. That's basically condition. So if the condition is true, we simply return true. Fair enough. Now let's see more conditions. Let's see some more conditions. For example, we are given 5. We are given 5. What else? We are given 4. We are given 9 and we are given 10. So in this case, let's see what happens. So here we got 5. We can pair 5 with its double. Its double exists. That is 10. So we are going to pair them both. Now we get a 4. But we can't pair up a 4, right? Because the value that is left is 9. It's not 8. So we can't pair this up, right? 4 double doesn't exist as well as 9 double doesn't exist. So we simply return false. Okay. So this was our question. Now let's analyze it better, right? Let's understand the question better. Okay. So let's say we are given an array. Let's take a positive integers first. So 3, 2, 6, 4, 8 and 16. Okay. So let's say we are given this array. So what I want to make you notice here, that here, if this is our x, so our x got two options basically. What is that? That whether it can be the double, right? Whether it can be the double or he will have a double. Are you getting me? That, let me show you. Let me show you. You will understand it further. So first let's talk about 3. So 3 got 6, right? As a pair. Okay. Now we are at 2. So 2 got 4 as a pair. Right. So 2 got 4 as a pair. Right. That's true. That's true. I'm sorry. Wait. Okay. Let's start from again. So 3 got 6 as a pair, as 3 into 2 is 6. 2 got 4 as a pair. That's also fine. 2 got 4 as a pair. Right. And here 6 don't got a pair. But there is a catch here. There is a catch here. What is that catch? Let's understand the catch. Okay. So here, can I say that I can pair, talk about this 4. My 4 got two options. Whether it can pair with this 3 or whether it can pair with this 8. So if 4 is my x, so my x got two options. What are those options? Whether it can be a pair, whether it can be a double of someone or whether it can have a double. Right. So if I want to find whether its double exists, so what I'm going to do? Simply x into 2. If x into 2 exists, right? And if my x is a double of anyone, so what will be the formula? It will be x upon 2. Are you getting me? Why is that? Because x upon 2 is is 2. Wait, I think we did something wrong here. So let's forget about it. Let's forget about it. I want to draw one more example, and I want to understand it better. Okay. So let's take an example. Minus 2, minus 2, minus 4, 8, 4. And let's take more elements. And 2 and 1. Perfect. Perfect. Now let's see what I'm trying to say here. Okay. So we are at minus 2. Right. So minus 2 can pair with minus 4. Perfect. Now we are at 8. Right. 8 can pair with what? 4. Perfect. We got 2. 2 can pair with 1. But what are we doing exactly? We are doing what? So here we had 8. Right. So this time think about it that 8 double don't exist. But 8 is the double of 4. Right. So how will I get to know? I will simply divide 8 by 2. What will I get? 4. Right. So now element might have two options, right? Whether it will be the double of someone or a double exists. So in this case, a double, in this case, this is the double. 8 is the double. Now I want to talk about this 4 case. Now in this 4 case, they are both the condition that is true. That 4 double exists, as well as 4 is the double of someone, right? As well as 4 is the double of someone, right? So if that's the case, which condition you are going to make true, right? You are going to pair 4 with which element? That is going to be a tricky one, right? So how will you think about it? We are going to discuss about it later, right? We are going to discuss about it. For now, I know you got the point that what I'm trying to say. Okay. For now, what I want to show you is what? Let's see. It's what is in the question. It is mentioned to us what that you are given an array of integers with even length of n. Okay. So let's say if we are not given an array of integers of odd, like we are given an array of integers of odd length, then what will that really mean? Let's understand. Okay. So if we got 2, 8, 4, 4 and 5. Right. So here what will happen? 2 can pair up with what? 2 can pair up with 4, and 8 and 4 they can also pair up, as 8 is the double of 4. Perfect. Now for 5 we got no space, right? For 5 we don't have a pair because all the elements has already fulfilled. So that's why in the odd case we will never get our answer. Perfect. Now let's see a even case again from the start. Okay, let's see a even case, of course, the valid case. So let's say we got 2, or let it be 9, 18, 9, 18, 4, 8. I hope you're understanding the point what I am focusing on. That here my 9 got a double, that is 18, right? And here also my 4 got a double, that is 8. But what if here instead of this we had 8 and 4? So then what will be the statement? Then let's say we got 8 and 4. So this time 8 is the double of someone, right? How will we identify? We will upon 2, right? So by that what we understand that there is a problem with this, that how will we calculate whether I am the double, right? Whether I am the double of someone or I got a double, right? So how we will face this problem? This problem can get fixed just by using sort, just by sorting the array. Let's see how is that. Let's understand. So let's say we got an array that is 8 minus 4, or let's take positive elements for now, then we will talk about the negative point. So let's say we got 8, 4, 6, 3, and 2 and okay. So what we are going to do is sort our array. So let's say what our sorted array will look like. Our sorted array will look like 2, 3, 3, 4, 3, 4, 4 and 8. Okay. So now what's special with the sorted array? Let's understand. So here every element had two options, whether it can be the double, right? Whether it can be the double of someone or a double might exist, right? A double might exist. But for the least value, for our array least value, that is 2 in this case. Do we really have two options? Do we really have the two options for the least value? No, we don't. We only have one option. This one, that it double might exist. It can't be the double of someone because it's the first element. Right? It can't be the double of someone because it is the first element. So with the help of this, that's how sorting will help us. Let's see. So here we have sorted this array. So there will not be any case where B will be double of someone. Let's see how. Because here for 2, what is it double? Its double is 4. Yes, 4 exists. So for 3, what is it double? What is it double? It double, wait, I think 4, 4. Okay, I think we have wrote wrong element here. It was supposed to be, let me erase it and start from the beginning. So what will be our array? Okay, so what will be 2, 3, 4, then again 4, 6 and 8. Perfect. Now let's understand. Okay, so here our 2 can pair up with 4 definitely. So here what choice we are using is x into 2, that it 2 double will exist, right? So yes, 2 double exists, so we can pair it up. Then we get to 3. Then again its double exists, that is 6, right? Then we get to this 4, right? Because here we have already included it double also exists. So now what is the difference? Now the difference is that now we have to only take care of one condition. What is that? That it double might exist, not this condition that I am the double of someone. Why is that? Because we are moving from in a sorted order, and think about it. We are at 2. And it is a least element, so it can't be the double of someone. And if you move in a sorted order, so only this condition will be necessary. That is, if my double exists or not, right? But there is a catch to it. Okay, there is a catch to it. We are going to understand it. Before that, let's see this example. It's a very interesting example. Okay, so we got 2, 4, 1, 8. Okay, so we got 2, 4, 1, 8. Let's say we don't sort it. So again, I want to mention it that our fourth element, if this is our x, it got two options. What are those options? That it can be part of this group, that is 2, 4, and it can pair up with 8. Do you agree? It had two options, that it can be part of it can pair up with 2 or to pair up with 8, right? So if this is our x, let me write it again. If this is our x, it got two options. If it can pair up with 8, that means its double might exist, that is x into 2, right? Or 4 is double of someone, right? Or 4 is double of someone, so x divided by 2. Perfect. So these are the two conditions I got. But how sorting the array help us? We are going to see it now. So if we sort the array, what we will get? 1, 2, 4 and 8. Now, sorry. Now we are at 1. How many options we got? Can 1 be double of someone? No, it cannot, because it is the smallest value. It can't be the double of someone. So only this condition will be valid. What is the condition? That my double might exist. So we are at 1. Yes, it double exists. That is 2. Right. So now we are at 4. And again, this time think about it. That 4 4 can't be the double of someone because we have already included the element. We have already paired up the previous element, right? Right. We have already we have already paired up the previous element, right? Because we are moving in a sorted order, and here 4 can get paired up with 8, right? But this will not always work. Let's see why is that. Okay, let's see why is that. So let's say we are given an array this time with negative elements. So 8, 4, minus 2, minus 4, and minus 8, and again minus 4. Okay, so let's say we are given this array, right? So what was our first step? Our first step was to sort our array. Okay, so let's sort it and see what will our sorted array looks like. So what will our sorted array looks like? It will be minus 8, then minus 4, then again minus 4, then minus 2, then 4 and 8. Now we are at minus 8. We are at minus 8. Right. So what we are doing? What we are doing now is only caring about this. That to check if my double element exists or not. But if at minus 8 I multiply it by 2, what will I actually get? I will get minus 16. I will get minus 16. But think about it. Think about it. Will it really work like that? Because here if it's a negative value, it's a negative value. To get the double element, I actually have to divide it by 2 instead of multiplying it. So if I divide it by 2, if I divide by minus 8 by 2, what will I get? What will I get? I will get minus 4. And that's what I actually need. So the case will be different for negative elements, right? So it will be different for the negative elements. Let's understand. Okay. So if x is positive, then what our condition is? That to check for our double, right? To x into 2, right? And if it is a negative value, what we are going to do? If it's a negative value, right? We are going to check if upon 2 exists, right? If we divide by 2, if our half exists, right? So that's what we are going to do. So here we are minus 8, right? And we are gonna reduce it, right? We are gonna subtract it by 2 and check if it exists. Yes, minus 4 exists, so we can pair this up. Now we are at minus 4 this time, and we have already paired this minus 4. We are at this minus 4, right? And yes, we can pair it with minus 2. Yes, we can pair it with minus 2. Minus 4 upon 2 is minus 2. So yeah, we pair it, and now it's a positive value. So here it's a positive value. We simply multiply it by 2. That's going to give us 8. Yes, we can pair both of them. Perfect. Now we still have not discussed the case. What if? You must be wondering that we have discussed about the positive elements, we have discussed about the negative elements, but what will happen when we get a 0? Okay, so let's say we got 0, 3, 6, 0. So if we are given this array, okay, so now our first step, what was our first step? To sort our array. So let's sort this. What we will get? 0, 0, 3 and 6. So that's what we will get. Now what we used to do? For positive, we used to check into 2 element, right? If it double exists or not. And for negative, we used to check if half of it exists or not, right? Minus 8 upon 2. But for 0, we can check any of them. Whether it's into 2 exists or upon 2 exists. Let's see why is that. Because if you got a 0, if you multiply it by 2 or you divide it by 2, ultimately you are going to get same answer, that is 0, right? So for 0, the pair will be 0. So here for 0, what will I look for? I will look whether a 0 exists or not. Yes, a 0 exists, so I can pair both of them. And here it's a positive value, so I will multiply it by 2. Yes, 6 also exists, so I can pair them. Perfect. So now that we know, let's write our steps and let's perform all the operation for this given array. Here it got all the valid cases that we will, important cases, so we will have a better understanding of our problem. Okay, so let's do it step by step. Okay, so what will be our first step? What was our first step? Our first step was to sort the array. Let's sort it. So we are gonna sort our array. So what will the sorted array looks like? Look, what will be the sorted array looks like? Let's see. Okay, so it's -8. Okay, it's -8, then -6, then -4, then what? Then -3, then 0, one more 0. Okay, then 1, then 2 times 2, 2, 2, no 3, 1, 2, then 3 times 4, 4, 4, 4, then 1, 2, 3, 8, 3 times 8, 8, 8, 8, and 1 times 16. Okay, so let's see if we wrote it correctly or not. So let's add indexes here as well. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Perfect. Perfect. So now that we have sorted this array, we have completed our first step. Now we need not to care about the previous array, right? So let's remove it from our screen. Perfect. So now we have sorted it. What we used to check till now, what we are checking, whether a double exists or not, right? That's what we are checking. So what this term, whether it exists or not. So what's best for us? Which data structure can help us to identify whether it exists or not? Yes, you are right. Map, unordered map is going to help us. So what we are going to do is create a frequency map, frequency unordered map, which is going to store the element and its frequency. Okay, so that will be our second step to create a unordered map. To create a unordered map. Okay, so here also let's create a unordered map, and we are going to store our value and its frequency. Why frequency? Because frequency is going to tell us that how many elements we got, right? For example, if we got 8, then its frequency is going to be 3, right? So we got 3 8 that we can pair up, right? So what is this about? This is for this storing our x. Let's say x is our element and its frequency. Okay, now what we are going to do? So first, I'm going to extract my element. Let's say x is my element, right? That is -8. Instead of that, right? And first, let's talk about the first step. So first, I will traverse the whole array and I will fill my map. I fill my map with the element and its frequency. Okay, so let's do the same. So I got -8. Its frequency is 1. Right, what else? I got -6. Its frequency is also 1. I got -4. Frequency 1. -3. Frequency 1. 0. Frequency 2. 1. Frequency 1. 2. Frequency 2. 4. Frequency 3. Right. 8. Frequency 3. And 16. Frequency 1. So let's say this is our map. So what I did is traverse my array and store the value and its frequency in my map. Right. Now comes the step that we were waiting for. Okay. So we are at the 0th index now. It's a sorted array now, right? So I extract my x. Right. What is my x? X is the value that is -8. Now what do I check? Okay. So let me bring this here. Right. This beautiful diagram. Right. What? This. Let me copy it. Okay, we have already pasted it here. Let me zoom a bit. Perfect. I hope it is visible. My camera is not interrupting. Yeah, we created some extra one. Let's delete it. Yeah, let's. Okay. So here, what does it mention? Right? It mentioned that if it's a positive value, we check whether our double value into 2 exists, and if it's a negative value, when we check if our half, if upon 2 exists. So if x is -8, so what will be our y? Let's say y is the value that we want. That's our double, right? So what is y here? What can be y here? Y will be -8 upon 2. That is going to give us -4. So now what we are going to do? We are going to check if our map got -4. Yes, our map got -4. So we can make them a pair. So let's make them a pair. So -8 and -4, they are going to be a pair. We are going to reduce its frequency because we are using it. We are making them in a pair. Now we get to the first index. What we got? X as -6. And what will be a y? Again, y will be -6 upon 2. That is going to give us -3. So now we are going to check if -3 exists in our map. If it exists, if its frequency is greater than 0, yes, its frequency is greater than 0. So I can use it. So here I am going to use -6 and -3. Its frequency is going to be 0 and 0 now. Perfect. Now I move to the second index and I check that -4 frequency is 0. So what that indicates that I've already paired it with someone. So I don't need to do anything now. I'll move further. Then again, I go to -3 now. Now again I check the frequency of -3 is 0. That means I've already used it. I need not to check it again. Right. Now x is equal to 0. We are at the fourth index and x is equal to 0. So if x is equal to 0, then what we can do? Then what will be our y? So y can be anything. You can take anything, whether you want to multiply it by 2 or divide by 2, because it's going to give us the same answer, that is 0. So 0 upon 2 is going to give us 0. Right. So now we are going to check if our y exists in our map. Yes, it exists in our map. Right. So what we are going to do is reduce its frequency. So we are going to use both two elements, right? Fourth index and fifth index, x and y. So its frequency is going to be 1 and eventually 0 because we are using two elements. Perfect. Then we go to the fifth index and we see. What we see that we have the frequency of 0 is 0 because we have used it. So we move to the sixth index. We got x as 1. Now that's interesting. So now x is equal to 1. So what will be our y? Our y will be into 2 instead of upon 2 because it's a positive value. Right. So we are going to check if our double exists or not. So 1 into 2, that is 2. Right. So now what we are going to do? We are going to check if y frequency is greater than 0, if y exists in our map. So yes, y is 1, right? Y is 2, right? Yes, 2 exists in our map and its frequency is greater than 0. So we are going to reduce its frequency because we are using it to 1 and 1 frequency will be 0. Perfect. Now we move further, we get to the seventh index. What we get? We get x is equal to 2. We get x is equal to 2. We calculate our y. Y will be equal to what? What will be double? It's really simple. 2 into 2, that is 4. Right. So yes, 4 exists in our map. So we are going to use it. Its frequency is going to be 2 and 2 frequency is going to be 0. Fair. Now we move again, we get to the 8th index. We get to the 8th index and we see that we have already paired our 2 with someone, right? So here we will continue, we will simply continue, we will move further. Now we get to the 9th index. And in the 9th index, we get x is equal to 4. We get x is equal to 4. So it's a positive value. So we look for a double, that is 4 into 2, that is 8. That is 8. And now what we see? That 8 exists in our map, right? Its frequency is greater than 0. So we can use it, we can definitely use it. So we are going to use it. So its frequency is going to be 2 and 4 frequency is going to be 1. We are reducing it by 1. Now we move further to the 10th index and here again we get x. We get x, we get 4 again, x equal to 4, right? Because here the frequency of 4 is not 0, so we can definitely use it. So x equal to 4, what will be our y? Y will be the same, that is 4 into 2, that is 8. So we are going to check if 8 is present in our map. If 8 is present in our map, yes, 8 is present. So we are going to use it. So we are going to use 4, so it will get 0, and we are going to use 8, so it will get 1. Now we move to the 11th index and we see that our frequency got 0. So we don't have a 4 because we have already used it. So we move to the 12th index, we get x is equal to 12. We got x is equal to 8, sorry, in the 12th index. What will be our y? Our y will be equal to 8 into 2, that is 16. Perfect. So now we check whether 16 exists in the map. Yes, it exists. Its frequency is greater than 0. That's completely fine. So we are going to use it. So we are going to reduce its frequency. Here also we are going to reduce its frequency to 0. Perfect. Now we get to the 30th index. We see that the frequency of 8 is 0. That means we have paired it, or we have already paired it with someone. We get to the 14th index. We get the frequency 0 of 8, right? That means we have used it with someone. We'll move ahead. That we come at the last index 15, and we get at 16, and the frequency of 16 is 0. That means we have already paired it with someone, and we will move on. If we get out of the array, that means the condition is matching true, and we are going to simply return true. Right. Now let's code it. The code is very similar to the logic that we just discussed. Okay, so let's get to the code. Right. So first step. What was the first step? Think about it. So the first step was to sort our array. Array.begin, array.end. Right. So what we did is array.begin, array.end. Yeah. So what we did is simply sort our array. Now that we have sorted our array, what we need is a map where we are storing the element and its frequency. So let's create an unordered map of integer and integer. I'm gonna call it map. Okay. So what will be my first step? My first step will be to traverse my array. Right. To traverse my array and store the frequency of my value. Let's say x is my value, so x is equal to array of I. So what I'm going to do, map value. If the value exists in my map, I'm going to increase my frequency. Right. So now I completed my two steps, that was sorting and then storing the values in my map. Now what I'm going to do, now let's see what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to traverse my new array, that is the sorted array. So int I is equal to 0, I is less than array.size I plus. Okay. Now let's discuss the case. What if the frequency in our map is 0? What we do? If the map, let's say let's take the value, let's start the value, let's say our value is x, right? First. Okay, now let's say if map x, if the value frequency is 0. So what does that really mean? That we have already paired it with someone, right? As we have already discussed, that means that we have already paired it with someone, right? So for here, for 16, what happened? We've already paired it with 8, right? So if that's the case, then we simply continue that check for different element. For my element, I paired it with someone already, right? Now we are going to discuss the negative case. Let's see. Okay. So let's discuss this case. Okay, I think we have not discussed this case. This is a very interesting case. Okay. Yeah. So let's say we are given an array that is -7, 4, 8 and -3. So we are going to sort it, of course. So the sorted will be -7, -3, 4 and 8. But can we ever pair a -7? Can we ever pair -7? Think about it. So what we used to do if it was a negative value, we used to check x upon 2 whether x upon 2 exists. So if -7 upon 2, what will it be? It will be some decimal value. It will be 3 point something, right? If it will be 3 in terms of programming, right? It will be 3. But is 3 really the double of -7? No, it is not. Right? It will be -3. So -3 is not the double of -7, right? So what we will do is simply return false, because if we get a negative odd value, if we got a negative odd value, that means we can't pair it with anyone, right? So instead of -7, we got -5. That means the same thing, we can't pair it with anyone. So we are gonna simply return false. So we are gonna write code for it. If x is less than 0, that means return negative value, and x modulus 2 is not equal to 0. That means it's a negative odd value. What we are going to do? Simply return false. That the condition is not right. Now, what will be our y? What y here is, what was y? That the double, that the value we need, to pair it, right? So we have two cases, whether a negative value or a positive value. So if x is greater than 0, then what is our y? Our y is simple, that is x into 2. Else if our x is a negative value, then our y was x upon 2. Perfect. Now we are going to check if our y exists in our map, right? If our y exists in our map and its frequency should be greater than 0, right? If it is not greater than 0, if it is 0, that means our y does not exist in our map, right? Its frequency is 0. That means we can't pair our y. We can't pair our x with y because it doesn't exist. So that means we can't pair it. So if we can't pair, we are going to simply return false, right? And now what we do? If we are here, that means we can pair it. So if we are pairing it, we have to reduce its frequency. If we are pairing x and y, so I'm going to reduce the frequency of x and y, minus. And if I get out of this loop, that means that the condition is valid and I return true. Okay, that means the condition is valid and I'm going to simply return true, right? Now let's try running our code and see if this, here it will be x, right? It's x, right? Map x. Yeah, let's run our code, and if there is any error, we'll fix it. Okay, it seems accepted. Now let's submit it. So as you can see, it passed all the test cases. Amazing. Okay, now let's dry run this code. Okay, we have already discussed about it a lot, but I still want to dry run so that if there is anything that you still don't understand, you are going to definitely understand it. Okay, so let's dry run it for some example from test case. Okay, so this is our code. Okay, I hope it is visible, right? I hope it is visible. So now let's create an array where we are going to dry run it. So let's say we got an array that is 9, 18, 4, -2, -4, and 8, right? What else? Let's say again 2 and 4. Okay. So what was our first step? Our first step was to sort this array. So let's sort this array. So what will be the sorted array looks like? -4, -2, 2, 4, again 4, then 8, then 8, then 9, then 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Right. So this is our new sorted array. Now let me also write the indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. Now that we have sorted the array, what was our next step? Our next step was to add the elements in our map. So that's what we are going to do. So this is our map, let's say. Right. Here I am going to insert every element and its frequency. Okay. So what will it be? So for -4, the frequency will be 1. For -2, again the frequency is going to be 1. For 2, the frequency is going to be 1. For 4, the frequency is going to be 2. For 8, it's going to be 1. For 9, it's going to be 1 again. For 18, it's going to be 1. Right. Now we did the steps till here. Then what we do? Let's see what we do. We traverse. So if we traverse, first we extract the value, that is our x. So our x will be equal to -4. Let me show it with a different pen. Let's show it with a blue pen. So our x is equal to -4. Now we check if the frequency of x is equal to 0, right, in our map. So what that means that we have already used our x. We have already paired our x. No, it is not 0. Then we check if it is a negative value. Yes, it is a negative value. And then we also check if it is a negative odd value. No, it is not an odd value. So now we calculated y. So what will be its y? Y is the element that we need, that we can pair up with. So y, it's a negative value, so it will be x upon 2, -4 upon 2, that is -2, right? So then we check if the y, whether y exists in our map or not. Yes, y exists. So we are simply going to pair them up. What pair them up means, in our map we are going to reduce their frequency and it's going to be 0 now, right? We reduce it by 1. Now we will go to the first index and we get -2. We get our x as -2 and we check that x already exists in our map. Yes, with what frequency? 0. That -2 with frequency 0, that means we have already paired it. So we will go to the second index. So what is our x now? Our x is equal to 2, right? Now we check whether the frequency of 2 is 0. No, it is not 0. It is not a negative value. Then we calculate its y. This time it's a positive value, so its y will be x into 2. That is 2 into 2, that is 4. Right. So yes, 4 exists in our map. Its frequency is not 0, so we will not go there. And here we are going to reduce its frequency because we are pairing them up. So here the frequency will be 0. Here 4 frequency is going to be 1. Perfect. Then we move to the third index and we see that 4. We got 4. Right. 4, we see that the frequency of 4 is not 0 in our map. It is 1. Right. It is 1. So we can use it. So x is equal to 4. Perfect. And x is not a negative value. Perfect. And we are going to calculate y. So it's a positive value. So y will be 4 into 2. That is 8. Right. That is 8. Then we check what? That the frequency of y. Whether is it the frequency of y? That is our 8. Is it 0? No, it is not 0. That means y is present in our map. So we are going to use it. We are going to pair them up. So we are going to simply reduce its frequency. It is going to be 0 here and here it is going to be 0 again. Right. Now we move to the fourth index and we see the frequency of 4 is 0. That means we have already paired all our 4. So if that's the case, we simply continue. Right, we move further. Now we go to the fifth index. We go to the fifth index and we get 8. And the frequency of 8 is again 0. That means we have already used all our 8. So we move further. Alright. So now we are at the sixth index and we get x is equal to 9. We get x is equal to 9. Its frequency is not 0. Right. So we can do the work for it. Now we check it is not a negative value. So we calculate its y. Right. Its y will be what? 9 into 2, that is 18. That is 18. So we are going to check whether 18 exists in our map, right? And if its frequency is greater than 0, right? It is not 0. That means it's greater than 0, right? So we are going to simply pair it up, right? Right? They can get paired. So we are going to pair this up. The frequency is going to be 0. Here also it is going to be 0. Then we move to the seventh index and we check if 18th exists in our map and its frequency is 0. Yes, its frequency is 0. So we are going to simply continue. And we continue and eventually we will get out of the loop. If we get out of the loop, that means any of the condition is not false, that we were able to successfully pair up all our elements. And we are going to return true. We are going to simply return true. So that's it for this video. If you liked it, do not forget to like, comment and share. Thanks for watching.